Hi everyone, this is Migs from Six and Ball PH and welcome to episode 18 of the Air Jordan Hunt. Today we have a quick look and unboxing on the Jordan 18 Yellow Ochre. To start things off, the Jordan 18 is a very special shoe historically because this was the last shoe that Jordan played in, because he did use these in the 2002 to 2003 season, which was his second and final season with the Washington Wizards. At the time, Jordan was still the team president as well as a player for the team, which was definitely a very interesting dynamic and something that I don't think we'll ever see again. It was just really awkward because being the team president of the Washington Wizards, he was the guy who was, trading people, signing free agents, drafting players, but he also was playing, and that definitely led to a lot of drama from, the other players on the Wizards saying that he overshadowed them and kind of halted their development, so to speak. But going back to what happened on the court, this would be his third and final swan song, and he still averaged a pretty decent 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. He wouldn't really enjoy the same team success that he was used to in Chicago because the Wizards did miss the playoffs by being tied for the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. But we do have to keep in mind that he was 39 years old and actually turned 40 during the season. I mean, come on, you just have to give the man a break sometimes. This Jordan 18 in particular plays on the same kind of concept that the 16 and 17 both had, which is that he was the team president as well as being a player. So not only did these have to perform on the court, but they also had to look and feel really premium. This Jordan 18 Yellow Ochre is definitely an example of that because it actually has a fully suede upper, which, if that doesn't scream premium, then I don't know what does. Then with that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing. So the box on the Jordan 18 is a pretty basic gray box with the Air Jordan 18 logo here on the top, and that's pretty much it. You have your sizing and everything, and just opening the box, and then you have a little bit of paper, and here you have your left shoe, and it's just, it's definitely one of the most premium shoes I've ever seen, and it's really insane to think that you can actually play basketball in these. So putting this down for a while, and then here you have your right shoe, and it's just super premium all throughout. Like, it just screams, being a basketball executive and all of that jazz. So here you have it, guys. This is the Jordan 18 Yellow Ochre. So for the tech specs on the Jordan 18, here on the outsole, you do have this very wavy looking herringbone pattern, which is pretty reminiscent of the wave bone that Adidas used back in the day. And it's cut up in 2 sections, namely the forefoot and heel. Just trying these out here at home, it did feel like there was a little bit of a finish on the rubber. But I think once it's broken in, it'll be pretty good on court. It's just that I'm a little bit wary of some of the peaks here on the wavy herringbone because they are pretty close together. So that can be a dust trap and might lead to subpar traction on dusty courts. But aside from that, it does seem pretty promising. The rubber grooves are also a little bit thick and they're hard as well. So I think that the traction on the Jordan 18 will last you a pretty long time outdoors. But I mean, do you really think you want to take a shoe like this outdoors? Moving on to the cushion, there is definitely a lot going on in the Jordan 18 because first of all, you have this plastic that wraps around the bottom of the shoe and up the sides of both the lateral and medial side. You have some rubber that comes up here on the toe as well as here on the heel. So you can see that the cushion is pretty caged all throughout. Plus you can see this carbon fiber plate that seems to run almost the entire length of the shoe, which makes the shoe super duper rigid, like So it is a really stiff shoe, and there's a good reason for that because Michael Jordan was 39 turning 40, so he kind of needed all of the support he could get. But even though this shoe is super stiff, the cushion is actually super awesome and comfortable because the shoe does have full-length zoom as well as another zoom unit here in the heel. With that full-length zoom and that essentially double-stacked zoom setup here in the heel, you have a really bouncy and comfortable ride in the shoe and a lot of impact protection. The cushion setup here definitely feels like it's for an older player because you have that epic rigidity from that plastic and that carbon fiber midfoot plate, but you also have a lot of bounce back and impact protection from the full-length zoom and that additional zoom unit in the heel. So for the cushion, it is super bouncy and super comfy and absorbs a great deal of impact. The only problem would be that this kind of setup is not maneuverable at all, so you really just have to break these in so that they bend a little bit more, and when you do break it in a little bit, it will be a lot more fun to play in. Then for the materials, this Jordan 18 Yellow Ochre comes in an entirely entirely suede upper. And ever since I saw this, I was just blown away at how they could put suede all over a basketball shoe. And you know, it just makes me feel bad when I eventually play in these because I think I'm gonna mess these up. But they are basketball shoes and they were made to be played in, so that's what I'll do. And when you pull this shroud down, you can see that it's connected via magnet. And underneath you have a mesh tongue with some synthetic leather here at the top. Here at the back of the shoe, you have quite a bit of rubber that comes up at the back of the heel. And surrounding that, you have this white synthetic leather. Then you have a nice and soft mesh sock liner. Another interesting thing about the Jordan 18s is that they have this sort of flap that exposes some supposed ventilation holes, which have this sort of metallic plastic mesh sort of material thing. And it's quite interesting, but it's also kind of a gimmick because, you know, the flap is normally just like that, so not a lot of airflow there. And you also do have a mesh tongue, however, you know, you're not gonna play with it like this. So as you can see, even though it's really premium, one of the downsides to the shoe is there is no ventilation at all. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size with the Jordan 18, and it fit me pretty well. There really isn't much dead space width-wise as well as here in the midfoot, but here at the tip of the toe, there is a little bit of space lengthwise. However, even though it fits a little bit long, I wouldn't recommend going down half a size unless you have a narrow foot, because I think that width-wise, it is already a little bit tight. It also is a little bit annoying getting into the shoe because, you know, if you put this down, you can only go until like the 4th to the top eyelet, and you really can't loosen up anything below that. So you're just gonna have to work with what you got, and that's these 4 eyelets. So my quick recommendation would be that if you have a narrow foot, you should definitely go down half a size. Then if you have a normal width foot, go through the size. Then if you have a wide foot, I think with all of this stuff that's going on with the cage and everything, your best bet is to go up half a size. Then for the aesthetic details, you do have white rubber here on the outsole. Here on the rubbery plastic that's exposed here on the midfoot, you have a gold Jumpman. And here at the medial side of the forefoot, you have this yellow portion, which actually kind of looks like a guitar pick, and it has an embossed number 18. Moving up to the rubber that comes up here at the toe, you have an infinity with the Jumpman. On the other side here at the heel, you do have some more rubber that comes up, and it has this weird sort of waffle or Lego looking pattern to it. Then you have Jordan written in this yellow ochre color. Surrounding that, you have some white leather with that sort of stitched pattern to it, which looks pretty cool. And then for the upper, it is entirely this yellow ochre sort of suede, and it's just very striking in my opinion. I mean, like, it's not the loudest color, but just the fact that the yellow ochre is just such a dominant color on the shoe, it just really makes it pop and makes it look really unique and really stand out. You have some Jordan branding with this Jumpman here at the base of the shroud, and here at the top of the shroud, they stitched in 74G, which is Nike's color code for yellow ochre, which is the color of the shoe. Then you also have some metal aglets with the Jumpman on it. And lastly, behind this shroud, you have this really cool touch because you have some silver Jordan branding. Then for the overall aesthetics, I do like the Jordan 18 quite a lot. However, if I were to rank these among the shoes that Michael Jordan used while on the Wizards, these would probably be slightly ahead of the Jordan 16s, but behind the Jordan 17s. The aesthetics on the Jordan 18 are definitely an acquired taste because, you know, you do have this all suede upper, but not all Jordan 18s come with suede. You do have those white and royals, which have a pretty much all leather upper if you are more into leather instead of suede. But for this specific build with that all suede, it does look super premium. It's just it's very hard to pull this off on the basketball court, if that makes any sense. This seems like something that you would most likely wear to a meeting or something, which is actually what Jordan Brand intended to do with this shoe. It's kind of like if you had basketball practice, then you had a business meeting afterwards. This would probably be the shoe for you. Although if I were to change something on the shoe, I would like this Jumpman here as well as the 74G and this top plastic eyelet to have a different color, just so that it has a little bit more pop on the upper and it just doesn't like overwhelm you with all of that yellow ochre. Then for the price, when the Jordan 18 yellow ochre retailed in 2018, it retailed for 11,095 pesos here in the Philippines or $225 US. It was definitely quite pricey, but when you see what you get with the shoe, I can kind of understand why it was priced this way. When this released way back in 2018, it didn't really receive much fanfare, at least here in the Philippines, because several months after the release of this shoe, I was already seeing them at outlets. However, in 2018, I did have some other priorities at the time, so I didn't end up copying a pair. Instead, what I did so I could get the shoe in 2020 was I went on the resale market and I got it from Sir Pat, and he actually sold me this for 6,000 pesos or around $120 US. They were also dead stock when I got them, and they came with the original box and everything, so it was a pretty good deal, especially since these did retail for $225 $95 US. So getting a $100 discount on a shoe that's this premium is definitely a great deal in my book. So there you have it, guys. That concludes episode 18 of the Air Jordan Hunt, featuring the Air Jordan 18 Yellow Ochre. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.